Hi there, and welcome to a new video. I'm so excited to take you throughout my day. I've been talking about this concept on my YouTube channel for the last few months, that I am on the quest to become my best self by the time I turn 40. And when I'm filming this video, it is exactly 48 hours before my 39th birthday. And I'm going to share with you everything I have on my list for the next year to become the best version / rediscover myself by the time I turn 40. Well, when you are seeing this vlog, it is a few days after my birthday, and I'm currently filming this video 2 days prior to my 39th birthday. And I've shared with you guys that over the last decade, so I found out I was pregnant with Ronan 5 days before my 30th birthday. So obviously I was so excited and I couldn't wait to embark on that journey of becoming a mom. And simultaneously, I was building my corporate career. So 5 days before my 30th birthday, I found out I was pregnant with Ronan. So I feel like all the way up until today, when I'm filming this video, turning 39, my 30s have been dedicated to becoming a mother, having children, building my corporate career, leaving my corporate career, staying home for like a quick second before then building my private nutrition practice. And so much or most of these last 9 years have been dedicated to something outside of myself. And that is to be expected, right? Like, this is the time of our lives where we are hyper present, having young babies, being pulled in a million different directions. But now it just so happens that I'm on this quest to become the best version of myself, and it aligns with, it is, a few weeks before the kids go back to school and when Sawyer is starting kindergarten. And honestly, I have a really hard time even talking about that without getting emotional, because for the first time in 9 years, I will be at home during the day without having babies home. I'm trying to see this as a gift instead of really viewing it as a chapter closing, which it most definitely is. And instead of staying stuck and hyper-focused on this chapter closing, I'm trying to do my best to use it as an opportunity. And so this, to me, lined up perfectly, that Sawyer is starting kindergarten, and I am given a little bit more time to focus on myself again. And I haven't done that for all of my 30s, to be quite honest with you. So now here I am, a busy mom, running a private practice, trying to take care of myself to the best I can, take care of my children, take care of my family, take care of my clients and my community. And in that time, I've kind of lost myself a little bit. I have to be honest with you. Like, the emperor definitely has clothes. Like, I do the things. Like, I eat so clean. I take care of myself, but I skip lunch on many days. And I've talked about that openly, how I really try to schedule a lunch break, but sometimes it doesn't happen. I showed last week running around to a field trip, and how I didn't have time to sit down and eat a lunch. I was having a Chomp's beef stick and an Element electrolyte. Like, I have to get back to being my best self. And there's no better time than when I've got this big goal in front of me, like this dangling carrot of motivation, and I'm using 40 as that excuse. Like, to me, 40, it doesn't feel like as big of a milestone as I thought it would. Maybe it will in a year from now. But right now, I'm like, it's 40. Like, I feel really good about myself and what I've accomplished. So I don't have any reservations about turning 40 yet. We will see. Again, I'm documenting this journey over the next year. So we'll see. We'll see how this progresses and how my outlook may change. But what I am doing is I'm using that dangling carrot, but I'm using this as an opportunity to see a goal and to be like, I'm gonna crush this. Like, I'm coming into 39 with a list of things I want to accomplish. And my personality as a Leo and as somebody who's a perfectionist, I'm gonna freaking crush it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be perfect, but we're gonna get there. Like, we're gonna knock off some really big stuff that's gonna make me feel like, you know what, 30, we really did our dang best. So now is the time I'm going to share with you. And okay, so I'm somebody who had this list. It was like 4 pages long in here, and I had to refine it and focus on the top categories. And then in those categories, I developed a few bullets. I didn't want to make this overwhelming. We have 365 days in the year. we have to make this attainable. And also I recognize that I need to ramp up. I'm not going to be able to go in guns a-blazing. It's going to take me some time to get my footing. And so I wanted to make this attainable. But what I did is I broke this into physical goals, mental/emotional goals, family goals/social goals. So let's start with the physical goals because I've been very outspoken with this. And number one for me is to continue to get enough sleep. I've been so focused for the last 2 years on getting the best sleep of my life. 2 years ago, I invested in the Oura Ring. I talked about the Oura Ring and how it's really important to me to track my sleep. And of course, with that, I have been taking the Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. So getting enough sleep is number one for all of the categories that we have covered, but especially for my physical health. If I do not get enough sleep, then there's no way I'm going to be able to accomplish all of these other goals. So getting enough sleep for me involves, of course, having a beautiful routine to unwind at night, and that does involve taking 2 of the Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. I have shared how when I take the Magnesium Breakthrough, I get upwards of 30% more deep, restful sleep. So that is a tremendous leap in sleep. And not only that, being more sleep efficient because I get between 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep. That's a great place for me. And using the Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough helps me get there more efficiently. And so you can use my code Jessica10 to save 10% on your order of the Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough. I will have that for you in the description box down below, as well as the first pinned comment. So sleep is number one. Number two is to continue to crush 12K steps per day. This again lined up with when I got the Oura Ring 2 years ago. I really focused on, at first it was 10,000 steps per day that I was like, oh, I'm like surpassing this and some. So then I bumped it up about 1.5 years ago to 12,000 steps per day. And most of the time I'm hitting 14,000 steps per day. So getting 12,000 steps per day and focusing on my sleep are 2 of the top low hanging fruit, even though some of the hardest sometimes as far as physical goals. Next is to get in 3 days of lifting weights. This is where I think I might struggle a little bit, but I'm holding myself accountable here with all of you. And this is what I know that my body is craving and needing. Pilates, yoga, walking, all of that is really easy for me to get in because I enjoy it. When it comes to lifting weights, I don't think I have the best form. I don't really know what exercises to do, and I don't have the self-motivation to go and lift the weights. It's just boring to me. I don't enjoy it. I find myself giving up oh, I need to do 3 reps. I do 2 reps. So 3 days per week, lifting heavy weights. 2 other things on here as far as physical health, of course, continue eating greens with at least 2 meals per day. That is the lowest hanging fruit, you guys. If you can get greens with 2 meals per day, you will crush so many of your nutrition goals. Of course, having my insurance policy, that smoothie, at least 5 days per week, and then keeping up with my herb water. I have loved my herb water so much. It has been a game changer in my hydration. It brings me so much joy. It has brought so much joy to all of you. So continuing with herb water is a big one. And then of course, having my spritzers. Spritzers are one of my highlights of my day. I talk about that all of the time, but that definitely contributes to my physical health because I'm adding in all of my special tinctures to really elevate them and take them to the next level. Okay, so as far as my mental/emotional goals, I have on here to continue asking for help. Continuing with my daily gratitude journal is a really big one for my mental and emotional health because I've looked back over the last few years and to see just everything I'm grateful for is so grounding. And I think over this next year to see my gratitude list will be really transformative. Next, this is kind of physical, mental, and emotional, but continue to get at least 15 minutes of indirect sunlight into my eyes first thing in the morning. I have been preaching this for 5 years. Even if it is freezing cold outside, go by a window, look out a window, open the window, stick your head out the window, hop out on your front porch, hop out on your deck, your patio, anything that you have, and get sunlight into your eyes by looking up at the sky indirectly. Do not look at the sun, but indirectly into the sun. This is incredible for your vitamin D levels, which of course is necessary for synthesizing your magnesium. It plays such a critical role in my overall well-being. And you guys know I love my morning steps and my morning walk, and that's when I tend to get this 15 minutes of sunlight. And then another one is continue to have a healthy relationship with social media. So obviously I kind of do social media for a living, kind of not. Like my nutrition practice is my living, but I obviously share here in the community as a content creator to share my information and to share education in hopes to inspire people to lead a healthier lifestyle. Especially as busy moms, I love to show up on here to show you quick tips and tricks to live your healthiest version of yourself. So it can be hard to have balance when it comes to social media. So I want to continue practicing having low social media weekends. I tend to do that on Saturdays and Sundays. I don't post as much. I don't check in as much. I never, ever check social media first thing in the morning. You guys know my mornings are so sacred, so I do my best not to check social media before around 7 a.m. or 7:30. Sometimes I will take a picture and I will quickly post, but I don't check. Like I don't consume other people's content, and I really try my best to not even before 7 a.m. because I wake up around 5 a.m. and then I absolutely refuse to turn my phone off airplane mode for the first hour. So from 5 to 6 a.m., I'm still actually on airplane mode. So I really want to continue to double down on that. Then moving into family/social, I want to continue to say yes more often with my children. And when they want me to do something, or they want to go on an adventure, or they want to go do something after school, to say yes more than I say no. And I'm hopeful that with a little bit more time during the week, I will have more time and flexibility in my schedule to say yes more often. I also want to continue to be able to volunteer and do everything at their schools. That's one thing that owning your own business, I've really been grateful that over the last few years, I'm able to chaperone every single field trip. I'm able to volunteer at every school outing, every class party. Like that's so important to me. And to me, like that takes precedence over everything else, being present at those events. My mom was present at everything. My parents were both at every single sporting event. And that to me is number one. And so I really want to be resourceful with my work time so that I can be there, be present, and not stressed about what I'm missing potentially at home. So that to me is really important. And then keeping up with social relationships as far as my friends go. I can get really overwhelmed with text messages. I've shared this quite a bit. And so I get really overwhelmed with the amount of unread DMs and emails and comments in text messages that sometimes I just don't reply to anything. And that is not a good character trait. So I am working on that character trait, being more responsive with text messages. I've gotten really good with comments. DMs is just going to be a never-ending black hole. Hundreds and hundreds of DMs asking for individual nutrition advice. One, I can't legally do that unless somebody is a client. And two, I'm one human and I can't get back to hundreds and hundreds of DMs about individual nutrition advice. But that does overwhelm me sometimes where I don't get back to text messages because there's just so many different pockets I feel like pulling for my attention. And I really want to be conscientious of getting back to the people that I love and I care about. And that includes you guys as well. But really getting back to people and setting time in my schedule, blocking in my calendar, time to reply to text messages, of course, emails, like my clients. I'm never unresponsive when it comes to my clients and emails, but getting back to text messages and returning phone calls and having those social relationships and booking in my calendar more dates with Kaya and booking in my calendar more nights with my girlfriends and having girlfriends over here at the house. Like I definitely do that, but I want to do that a little bit more. So that's really important to me because I always just feel like my cup is runneth over whenever I have these nights with my girlfriends. And it really nourishes me in such a deep, meaningful way to foster these relationships. So as I said, I didn't want the list to be too long, but it's definitely, there are some major goals on there. And I set 4 words to kind of describe the way I want to feel over the next year. And it was to feel intentional. I want to feel graceful. I want to feel disciplined. And I want to feel empathetic. I want to continue to have that empathy mainly for myself, and do so in a graceful, intentional way. So I feel like living through this lens will be really helpful in having me reach my ultimate goals as I chase, this new version of myself, or reclaiming myself as I approach 40. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And if you liked today's video, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Give that a click. That way you don't miss a single video. And I hope to see you back here next Thursday.